My whole life, I've had people mocking me like they're not allowed to talk to me. That's not going to make sense in the end. The guy's going to have to be a trained first responder in Geneva Convention and nothing to lose, rule out everything else. To defeat intelligence, all they have to do is be stupider than you could possibly imagine. So, I'm the world's biggest retard because I raped a dog. Well, add that to my list of accolades by age 11, 12. I guess if you're the kind of guy, you're the type of professional in the business of liquidating our space program to the United Nations, that might make enough sense. You live in some kind of fantasy. If you live on a flat, Earth-like planet, men of letters, lettered professional lawyers, the will of the people specifically enumerated in the Bill of Rights. Okay. So, if it's not covered, the document consecrated in the blood of a revolution and civil war. States' rights implies statehood. I don't blame NASA for opting out. This is ridiculous. They're not even going to tell us. They got some secret Santa granting all their wishes. Buying a Holy Quran does not make you a Muslim. When I say the gay mafia has been trying to kill me since age 6, what I mean is they claimed me. I'm supposed to be one of theirs. That's why I'm supposed to go to Hollywood with no agency. Am I anonymous, FBI? You can find me. Really, think about the most rational, forgivable excuse for your behavior for the past 15 years. Who owns Anonymous? The Catholics? China closed their doors. I mean, Chinese industry doesn't look all that communist. If we are closed off to the Western Church, why are we still at war with the Eastern? Why is our deficit a biological weapon backed in child molestation for us, but it turns to solid gold as soon as it touches Prince Charlie's hands? Why would a German lie to my face, wait till my back is turned, and then anthrax an Irishman, a virgin? Somebody told Germany I cheated on her. With a 90-pound Doberman, a Doberman Pinscher, a trained guard dog. Maybe it was the Wolfhound. Rape is defined as not taking no for an answer. Sex involves a penis and a vagina. Om Shinrikyo either liked it or didn't like it. Goddamn idiot doctors are like, he's delusional. He's got a messiah complex. First, do no harm, you're not a doctor. And then IQ testing, or you might be an idiot. When you're not actually in on it, and you got jokers following you around for 15 years. A professional doesn't jump to conclusions. When you quantify an attempt in progress, now you have a reason to look into it. You say greenlit and I see players. I know when I'm not wanted. We didn't actually have business, so I went and looked into mine. I come back in case they want to talk about it. Guess they'd rather trade favors. First, do no harm, or you do not have the stoic responsibility to the greater good to qualify you for statesmanship. You don't get to vote about it. First, do no harm Are you priest? Doctor. So you're a religious doctor. Don't worry about the cannabis, all right? The Hashashin see cannabis as an invitation to come ply their trade. That's why they don't like pot. What to do about that campaign fund? I'm not anonymous. I'm a trained killer. I'm in the FBI's database, formally certified. You don't just adopt me behind my back, especially after don't telling me out of my chosen career. Is there not a man among you with the huevos to tell these jokers? You don't tell the Marines to shut up. You don't tell them how to train their boys. Don't raise these people in a climate of forced equality and then send them into a life or death situation where it gets awkward and tell them to shut up. Medicine is from each according to his means to each according to his need. It's not socialism, it's medicine. You can't call it medicine, you have to call it healthcare. Calling it medicine would be blasphemy. This is the source of all authority in the world. Otherwise, it's just a war. That's Islam. Peace. Islam means peace. Peace is the law's job. The law, not a law. You assert the authority to investigate me to death. Clandestine operation on a world wide web. Any rule we can break, they can break better. All right. Remember when Homeland choked Eric Garner to death at Occupy Wall Street, declared Oath Keepers a terrorist organization? Kill a black man, unarmed black man, choke him to death. He said it was unconstitutional. They killed him. The KKK sabotaged us in Mogadishu. And now Babu's powerless. These idiots are going to start World War III. How would they draw Russia into it? Well, Trump's going to be president one day. NBC drawn into competing in this witch hunt on false premise. It was a headshot. I wouldn't pay for the agency. No, I'm joining the Army. No, I'm joining the Navy. I was supposed to join the Navy. But I was never actually affiliated with the Skins. I wasn't even allowed near them. I had one liaison. His name was Joe Wilkins. In 2011, I asked him and Kevin Bada to help me find a job, get my feet on the ground. I was coming back to New Jersey. Outside my immediate family, 3 people. I contacted 3 people on Facebook Messenger. And by the time I got there, 2 of them were dead within a day of each other. We still don't know if Kevin Bada was awake when he got in the car. FBI, is that not probable cause to investigate New Jersey? You gotta hold these people's goddamn hand, DEA. A square doesn't have to say, we're not gonna prosecute. Send NBC to hunt for some retard. Because they know what really happened. Police lie to the judge on a daily basis. Well, first do no harm, or it's not overruled. There's no such thing as contempt of judge. Court implies a jury. Qualified immunity. Qualify as a police officer. Justify your budget. Anybody want to buy a bunch of salty pork? 20 years ago, I advocated for compulsory service. I've always believed in everyone should have the opportunity. These idiots gave our tanks to the cops, sent us to war for 20 years with no armor, deck of playing cards, protect us. In Baghdad, use us to sweep enemy defenses aside and leave fully stocked armories abandoned. Stand around for a few years. Afghanistan, do it again. Sweep enemy defenses aside. Stand around in poppy fields surrounded by vast network cave systems with unlimited supply of international mujahideen via Pakistan. Attack Libya twice. Still lose Benghazi. Drone bomb Pakistan until I'm getting messages. Hey, we're living underground. Think maybe that's good? I'm like, what? What did it have to do with me? 2015, somebody tried to kill me. And it wasn't collections. I mean, I'm not gonna foist, bigger fish to fry. Some of them had a legit reason. I study religions. I know collections when I see them. Doorman. I've seen collections. Collecting on behalf of the guy who ripped off insurance the year prior. Blame the patient. You got the Privacy Act and the Baker Act in Florida. Apparently they're both completely bulletproof. Real sure of themselves. They waited until I shipped out and acted like I was affiliated with the guys who stomped Jeff Trump. Jeff Trump was properly stomped when I was 3 years old. He lived his life in fear from that day forward. He was 8. It took him 15 years to succumb to his injuries. Why smoke Joe Wilkins? No, all's forgiven, FBI. Totally forgiven, CIA. Not within the scope of your 2015, someone tried to kill me. I went and looked into it because I'm not obligated to jump on that first trap. Obvious, act like I'm crazy. We're not all fucking blind over here just because I don't know what it really is. You got tech support, right, who technically obligated to look the other way, while the third world reaps what you've sown here. Call everybody anonymous behind their back and then blame the Jews. It's not kosher. Can't blame the Jews. You doing business with them? Are you kosher? Maybe they should. Do they have an option? Is it up to them? You're doing business with the Saudis. Taliban means students. It's not limited to Afghanistan. It's an Islamic State. In Syria, though. Just Syria. Islamic State in Syria give Afghanistan a flag. Our government is just paralyzed. So I go look into it, and I rule out the least unlikely misunderstanding, because none of it made sense. I've never engaged the market like that. None of it made sense. I never sold cocaine for you to wait till I leave and forgive me for stomping the fuck out of Jeff Trump 15 years prior. Wait till I come home on leave, tell me you gotta sell cocaine. I don't know why. Could have just said, beat that guy up. Already been accused of murdering a fucking Trump. Oh no, we already got that. We need the cocaine. So 3 years later, I get run off from the Cav. I got no way of knowing why or how. Come to find out, they crippled a bush 2,000 miles away, and my new friend talks me into investing in dextromethorphan hydrobromide, available in bulk as a dietary supplement. Poisonous if insufflated. They crippled that poor girl for life and blamed a soldier 2,000 miles away. It's called an onion when you got a bunch of kosher pork that gets paid either way. They just need a reason to be like, oh, well, that's why. That's not why. Almost 43 years old, I live with my mother and my crippled sister. Somebody taxed her without representation. Somebody has to kill somebody. I'm gonna kill this fucking doctor. John McAfee'd be alive right now if I'd been allowed to sue when I tried. If I didn't have lawyers taking my money trying to stonewall me for a year. I got the papers where I signed a contract, and then I got the discovery or the case files. Not one phone call, let alone subpoena. Florida. Empire, Republic, government. First, do no harm, or you're a hostile, foreign, or criminal organization of government or non. What about women's rights? I've provided for that on my blog. The church here, but see, we rely on Rome for the final, like if they disagree, sorry, the Greeks, on the other hand, there's no prohibition of surgical procedures. There's a certain way you're supposed to do them. There's supposed to be a theater there. It's supposed to be like a show. Full recovery. Golf clap. First, do no harm. Or it's an invitation for the Ashashin, and you're not equipped to compete. A bunch of bird-wristed academics trying to protect me. Now I got the press evangelists talking about, oh, we rely on sources and da-da-da. You rely on whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are protected within the organization. You don't make a source out of me behind my back. Get your ass kicked. Pretend it didn't happen. America crossed the finish line in 2016. Berlin. I'm keeping score. You can bet there will be an investigation. In fact, by right of turnabout, I claim your patent for the Nazi Pervitin, methamphetamine. Turnabout. The United Nations anthraxed an Irishman on your behalf. Blame the Japanese. Islam does not play well with others. Amongst themselves, they are law-abiding, devoutly pious, beautiful culture. If you're not Muslim, we have no business blaming the Jews anymore. For one thing, the Pharisees are gone. No special masters. It's not kosher. The Holy Quran was written 450, 60 years after the resurrection. That Christ fulfilled the prophecy. The prehistoric, slave-raiding, nomadic feudalists claimed otherwise. The Iron Age would have been called Ferus, the Latin, were it not for the Irish. The Ionians take their name from Aaron. Aaron is named for Aries. Moses' symbol, the ram. First, do no harm, or you're not qualified to negotiate. Abortion is virgin sacrifice. That's an invitation for all the corruption of the Christian world to come play. Islam loves it. Islam pretends to be Christian. They bide their time. They bow. They renounce their faith. Corruption is a soft kill. They abide wickedness until they rally enough support to purify the land and its people. Buying a Quran does not make you a Muslim. I was clearly talking about how Islam captured Christians from all over Northern Europe for conversion by the sword, for the glory of Allah in Northern Africa, Christians don't persecute. We're not out here looking for Jesus. We don't want him to come back. That means we've failed. We have a government that prosecutes. Kosher is the law. The law is kosher. Don't send a bunch of stupid cannibals, slave raiding child molesters, everything you know of as civilized in Europe was delivered by the Aryan. The fall of the legendary city of Troy. The Parisians. Paris, France. They met the conditions of the Colossus and were permitted to pass through. They landed in northern Gaul, what is now France, were received as brothers. Paris, the source of all our troubles, was traded as a hostage for an army of Gaelic swordsmen. This is the story of King Lear's ancestry. Helen of Troy was so distraught, her poor Paris, that she threw herself from the first London Bridge, became Lady of the Lake, mother of Sir Launcelot du Lac, spelled either L-A-Q-U-E or L-O-C-H, depending what version you're reading. Do I know for sure? Well, I mean, there's like 1,000-year discrepancy between the legendary city of Troy and the crossing, the beginning of the Iron Age. Figure it probably occurred in phases. How many Christs did St. Ignatius think there were? On this side of Jerusalem, where the sun rises, on the round side of the planet, all this belonged to Jesus. Our Jews tend to be better off. Jesu. FEMA is not an agency, a government, Israel. F-E-M-A, 4 letters. Clearly a threat. It's Humana anyway. Corporate. It's all about the money. It's all about the ratings. So how much do you give us for all of us, Humana? What's the price tag on that?